Alright. Something is working. Could be worse. So I found the thumbnail. Awesome. Noise. So I'm creating a new color palette. I only had like a single flat color, so I'm using a small tool that helps me to generate two colors. Just change it. Tailwind colors here. Project is that we have quite an interesting logo here will be gone, of course, so it will be just the word mark, not the image. So I should change that here actually. That's good. Would have just simply hugged it. 71, please. Thank you for making my life difficult. And the reason why I'm doing this is because whenever you use the logo, you want to make sure that there's no spacing for the symbol. So the core design system is publishing as we speak. So I'll actually have to get back here. So as you can see here, these are all still some older colors, so that should be updated. And I'm going to try different layouts. So I do think we'll go for a left vertical navigation. I've been messing around with this blue color, but it's actually quite heavy. I would love to see this in too much room left actually, because it's already on the very light side. I just think this is too much blue here, and the gray actually on top of this, it just doesn't play nice. Having these texts in blue as well, I'm not too excited about it. So what I actually want to do is try out the new ivory palette that we made to see if we can make this one shade lighter. Library is updated, we could finally use those new colors, but as you can see, this is taking its precious time. And I already separated it apart, so it still does have the components, but the page examples are already moved elsewhere, which is good. So while all of a sudden it just went a lot faster. There's still 12 changes. Logo, so let's publish that as well. Since there are only 12, that shouldn't take too long. So if you just joined, say hi. I'd love to know who you are, where you're from, what it is that you do for a living. If you haven't figured out by now, I'm a designer. I create digital applications. turn down the music, and this should be hopefully better. Sorry about that. Just if you could let me know if this is better, that would be very helpful. So this is the mic sound. I should probably turn down the studio, well, this sound source. I'd love to hear my own music still, but yeah, it would be nice to have some voiceover. So thank you for Greno. Thank you so much for letting me know. If there's something wrong with the stream, feel free to correct me. I'm an absolute noob streamer, so these things happen, right? Even though the design file said there were only 4 changes, it does affect apparently 500 components, which is lovely, but there we go. So back to this file, update everything, the logo should be updated as well. And the first thing I want to try is get a good feeling for the different color schemes, the options that we do have. So there's still a lot of placeholders in here, but I just want to make sure that the navigation that we're picking, it feels right. And yeah, I did try out a horizontal navigation as well, but it's not going to work because we are going to have way too many features in this application. I do love this white version with the tan background. It does feel nice, clean and rounded, but at the end of the day, functionality is very important. So let's see if this is working now. So we have this ivory background color, and there should be a lighter tint, which there is. And now this should be ivory 50. This is very toned down. It did lose a lot of saturation, so I actually don't love it as much as the original. So this does feel better, but it's quite heavy. And on this side, when we would go to ivory 25, it is that muted color. If we do turn it up, it does become too heavy. So I think this might be the best bet. I just want to create a gray variant as well. So I do think we will have the version that we've shown here, but then instead of the gray background or the ivory background, it would just be a very subtle gray. This would be a gray 100, I think should be enough. 200 would already be too much. Then we have this component. It's not that important to stand out, so we'll just match it with the background. The color the border can of course be a little bit darker, but this already feels pretty nice. So this background is white, does give it a clean look, but I do think the gray color here, yeah, the border is a nice touch. But yeah, it did lose a lot of its identity. So I think it's good to have these next to each other. The blue one is very blue. It almost feels like a blueprint. I wouldn't want to recommend that. I do think the brown one is pretty cool, but then you would have a very light or full white background. And you can't really do that much with the cards. We have an option here where things are a bit more floating. I do think the text should be a little bit more smaller and compact here, especially since it's just a dashboard. Everything does feel a little bit too big, to be honest. Font size wise. Font size wise, wow. Feels a little bit better. I think it might have to do something with that font. It's not my favorite Silka. It'll probably make a big difference if we can change that later on. So I think I do want to stick with these concepts for now, just to make sure that we don't go overboard. So I think these will just be our UI concepts. The horizontal enough. We'll keep that just to be able to show them. Probably not the favorite. We have just a sidebar with a message concept and a calendar concept. But this is of course with the horizontal bar, so probably should move that there as well. Now the benefit of course of having that horizontal is that we can still use the full width, especially if you do have like these types of features where you would have a calendar. It does become quite squished if you would have a vertical sidebar here, but I think it's important to show nonetheless. So it's really tricky. The brand for this really has this warm secondary color. It's good for marketing websites, but I think here in the application it's just a bit too heavy. So if we're going to use it, it would probably be here in the sidebar instead of just the full background. As a background, we can push it a little bit like this, but I don't think it adds that much more than just a simple light gray background. But I'll let them be the judges of that. So what I'm actually going to do is just include the link here in my portal. Do I have another window available? So this would be the switch. And I just want to create a quick mock-up to give a sense of what we're doing. I think this would be my favorite so far. So I will just clip content, export this. I'll probably shred this later on, so it's fine. Dun, dun, dun. So, as you may have noticed, I'm far from a experienced streamer, I would say. So feel free to drop by, say hi. I'd love to know who you are, what it is that you do, if you're working on anything cool or interesting, where you're from, whatever it is that's on your mind. There's no right or wrong. Just simply love to hear from you and know that I'm not speaking into the void. Okay, this is still a bit too rounded. I think the background's fine. But maybe, to be honest, nah, let's not do that here. I was thinking about doing the background color as a background color. So I think this would be a simple mock-up. I think it's okay. Let's just quickly grab this. Throw that in the portal. And one of the challenges for this project is that it's Misik, hi, welcome to the stream. So what I'm doing right now is I'm working in Figma. Figma is of course the design tool. I'm using something called UntitledUI, which I'll share a link in the chat with for you, .com/untitledui. It is an affiliate link, just want to be honest. Wanted to double check the link, almost closed the stream, which is lovely. Yeah, link works. So there's no real stack, to be honest, because it's just design work. What I'm doing right now is just setting up the design system. The portal that I'm using this for my clients is called Orchestra. In here, I'm managing the design work. So for example, this is the first task, which was just create a bunch of different UI concepts. This is something we would need to discuss. So I'm just moving that to awaiting feedback. Oh, cool. Awesome. yeah, I'm happy to hear that you got Untitled UI as well. It's a really nice way of working with things. So I created a bunch of tasks. It's an interesting portal that we're working on. I have it here. And it's a place where people can manage their different locations, publish them to different websites. The homepage might not be the most interesting thing to work on. And I actually think I want to work on the, yeah, it's Dutch for melding, but it's basically the place where you would create your location and put it on a website. So I think that would be a fun project to work on. So I'll create, I do want to keep the structure, so I will create the deliverables. These are just the UI concepts. And we're gonna continue with plaatsingen. So I'm gonna pick the one that I thought was the coolest for now and just gonna continue working with that. So let's say one of the things that we can still improve, to be honest, is that icon color, because right now these are still on a gray, and I think now that we have this ivory, makes a lot more sense to put it in the right shade. 400. Does that look better, or am I just doing stupid things right now? Oh, that's horrible. Let's not do that. I might be okay with just like a really dark shade. The icons are not too bad. Yeah, I don't want to push the active as heavy as the primary color, because the navigation, it's just an indicator like, hey, you're here right now, and it definitely doesn't deserve the amount of attention as a primary would. So this is the 100. I think that's a little bit too light. So I want to stick this maybe to 200, which is already a bit too much on the heavy side for me. Interesting. Yeah, it's okay. I can work with that. The icon. Oh, sorry, maybe active icon. There you go. So we can make this a little bit darker. That's cool. I'm okay with that. So let's update this. And I should have actually changed that one. Where did my icon go? Thank you. Strange. Okay, I should have updated the normal and active states, but I think I'll actually do that when we have an okay on the design we're going with. So right now this is a bit cheating, but where's my square? This one. For now, I'll just leave it this way, but we'll definitely work this out. So let's get rid of the content, because truth be told, this would probably just be some sort of a list. Let's see if I can get my lights to go on again. No more light for me here. Fine, I'll work in the dark like Bane. So there's a lot of things to begin with. Normally I would just pick like a relatively simple table overview like this. So this would be a fine table, I think, to start with. I do think this is a good header to throw in there. And the table would be this. I'll be throwing away a bunch of stuff. This is kind of interesting. I think we could include the filters on top. And maybe filter here. Yeah, I don't think I want the filters because it's almost the same as these ones. So I think I can get rid of the filter bar. I do want to get some spacing. I think this is too much. That's already looking a lot better. Oh, yeah, we all know those client deadlines, right? It's actually a Dutch holiday, so I shouldn't be working at all, but I can totally relate. Thank you so much for dropping by. You can connect with me here on YouTube or my LinkedIn, X, whatever you like. We can stay in touch, and I'd love to see what you're working on as well. So good luck, and yeah, go make the deadline. When I will be back on YouTube, I won't be able to promise, but I'll do my best. And if you're subscribed, I think you can hit that bell icon to get a notification. I'm not trying to like stick you around, but I honestly don't know when I'll be back, so I hope that's not too horrible. Um, but yeah, best of luck with your project. I hope it's a fun one to work on. Awesome. Hopefully see you soon or see you next time. Mm. So the trick here is that I actually don't know the exact amount of plaatsingen would be average for a client. So we're just gonna throw in a bunch that at least looks very good to the customer, and we can always discuss and improve this layout. I'm not too happy about this. So I'm thinking a bit in the lines of, we have a plaatsing, and it's always good to kind of pull up what we have. So right now it has an image, you can edit, they have a status, and when it's last edited, title description. Well, I guess we can add some supporting text here. And they would probably all have that supporting text. So I think I would want to use badges then for status. So it has to be Dutch as well, so it's always a bit, yeah. We have to think about, I have to translate more to Dutch when it comes to like these status things. Color, this should probably be either Normally I would say gray, but since we want to push it to get things online, we are going to make it red. Then we say last edited, laatst bijgewerkt. I think this is actually all that we need. I would actually advocate to get rid of the edit as well, because you can just click it. Pagination, it might be a bit of an overkill. Just copy this real quick. It's only this level. Got a fun question. So at the same time, my LinkedIn is a lot of things happening. A lot of comments happening. I'll get back to that later. So this, of course, needs an action. I think search might be a bit too much, so we'll hide that. Main action, of course, would be nieuwe plaatsing. Can even add a plus to make it look a little bit spicier. And then here's the cool thing, because when you're actually going into the edit mode, this is where we'll do a major change. Because what we're going to do, I hope you're ready for this, we are going to add a navbar. Maybe I already have this in one of the concepts. Just let me double check. I don't have the menu bars here. I don't, so we'll start from scratch. So what I like to do in like focus modes is have like a nice top bar here. And what we're actually going to do is figure out what is the process of creating a vermelding. So I'll add some screenshots. Right now it's this modal, and you select one. You have to say, is it a new or a duplicate? When you create a new one, you have to give it a name. And when you actually created it, you come into this. You have to open it, and this is what you get into. So it's a bit too much, but what I actually already worked on was the idea of, I'll put this here as well, unclip content. So you would have a view mode, which would be this, instead of the current full edit mode, which is this. So I want to add a little bit more information into the creation mode and maybe figure out what the steps are. So I'll be also creating some sort of stepper or steps, or there's always some progress thing. And the question is really, is it going to be linear, or are we going to force people to go through it step by step? And what are actually those steps? So one of the things that I'm still on the fence about is that I would love to get locations as a starting point, that you can actually pick a location as a template. But I know the client's not too much of a fan of that. So what we'll actually do is here we'll break this part down. We're going to remove the max width to have it edge to edge with a padding of 24. I want to remove these because there will just be like a single call to action button in there, and this would be probably create or next step, whatever we'll need. And do we still need the logo here? I think it would be a nice touch, and that was my battery. So let me just switch batteries real quick. I hope it comes back to life, but I think it will. So this will be like a next step. We'll add some spacing between. I'm not quite sure how much, but we'll see how it goes. So the steps are, first question is if you want to create a new one or duplicate it, and where you want to place it. I'm also curious if we should allow to create on multiple websites. We'll see. I always like to start with modal because they have like this form option already in there, and I think this is just a nice way to kickstart. I'll copy it before I break it apart. I'll put this in a container with the max width that works. I think this is still not, this is way too much. So you won't be able to close it, of course. So there won't be a close button. And I do want this in a white background, maybe with a ivory border. Rounded. Really not a big fan of the font, to be honest. And I think these make a lot more sense. So let's figure this out. We have to pick where you want to place it. So that would be some sort of a radio group. And there's quite a pretty element for that here. So we would probably have to find one that has some sort of an icon or an image that we can use for the logos. The There are these, which are okay, I think. So these are the radio group avatars. Type avatar. Oh, avatar. And right now we have a multiple select, and that's something that I would have to double check with the client if that's going to be the case. And this is where I'll probably throw in some sorry, where I'll throw in some ChatGPT magic. Plaatsing new. I'll just copy the text, and what I've done is created my own GPT. So I trained the GPT to really know everything about their business, so I can actually use it to quickly create decent copy, which is very nice. So there will be some sort of a modal with a one-liner. And I do want to get the image a bit bigger, so we'll change that after we edit the copy. So right now I'm including the soon online, the text there as well. Cool thing is that I might do all the different websites. So I can actually just simply say I want to have a larger image, but it's not changing, so I'll probably have to do some naughtiness there to get that to work. And I think it has to do because right now it's SM, so it's just kind of annoying how they put this one together, but that's fine. Copy is fine. I'm gonna get rid of this. Right now it's a checkbox, which is perfectly fine. I broke it apart, so I can move it a little bit closer to each other. And now I should be able to change the avatar size, I think. Let me have a look what's going on here, because this is still... Oh, I should break that apart, right? Yeah, now I'm able to change it. 56, sure. So I'll just break these apart to be able to change that avatar size. And it's always a bit painful, but I know that replacing these logos or replacing those images with the actual logo will go a long way into making a good first impression. So it's definitely worth it, but I think it's even company. I need to double check if I think I did update these. These are about business. And this is... Oh, this is horrible to look, but I will have to put my face to my screen to be able to read this. This one. This is the yellow one. And this is the purple one. Help remind me that I changed the company name so I don't have to do this again, and I can just type in the company that I actually need. This one. And the last one is a beautiful pink one. And then we're Gucci. This is like, to be honest, instead of doing this, I should probably already be renaming the company, because I'm definitely going to need to do this again later on. Scroll through the entire list again. Fun times. Damn you. Okay. Logos. Fine. $24, $28. $48. And if you're going to replace the logos here, make sure that you turn off all these layer effects. I think that's it. Yeah. So this one is actually gotta push the updates. And we should have an update here as well, but it doesn't pick it up yet. So it's still publishing here. It's kind of interesting because I just... Oh, it's still publishing, of course. Only takes forever. And this was the last one that I needed to find. Done and done. Okay, let's publish again. So hopefully these won't be the biggest changes. And welcome to the new people who are joining the stream. My name is Philip. I'm a UX designer from the Netherlands. And yeah, I'm working here in Figma with UntitledUI, the design system, to build or design a new application, web application for a client. Currently still setting everything up and at the same time making some headway, if that's the right word, to create some sort of a new flow on how to create a new plaatsing or location. And yeah, that's what's happening right now. So that's what we're doing. So the first question is really, where do you want to, on which website do you want to place your location? And I have one more radio, or yeah, it's the select or a radio group. I think I want to have two options next to each other. And I think I even have some sneaky examples somewhere. Or not. Okay, I thought I had them. Always good to keep track of your shit. All right, so there is the flow. There's the question of how do you want to which websites. This still needs an update. Have the logos been published now? It says it did, so I'm just gonna update this one more time. It still has the old name, so I do think there should be an update for the file soon. But in the meantime, let's just... I think it was this one, but... Sorry. And to make this a little bit more exciting, I want to put them side by side, which it doesn't really like. So let me just see what's going on here. There we go. I want to get that in instead of these bad boys. And it should be filled. And I think, to be honest, this doesn't really need that radio icon that much. So let's just get rid of this one and this one to have a bit more space for the content. Kind of curious why. So apparently that doesn't fit. That's what she said. Fill. I would love to make this to be on one line. You know what? Maybe we should just kind of freeze this button. Let's just focus on this. At the end of the day, this is just where people will have their cursor. Well, I think it would be a nice touch if we can have this centered. So I'm just going to throw it in the container, absolute it and center it. And this should not be a primary. To be honest, it doesn't even need to be grouped. Like that. But this will be the primary save button, and we'll just use the content in here. So first we actually merged these together, so that's already quite a nice win. I don't really like, to be honest, how much these are like not attached to each other. Maybe let's not waste too much time on that for now. We'll see. So I actually want to put this information in the first step. So we'll have name, title, capacity, which is not that complex. So I want to be able to search for an existing location, and that would actually already determine the capacity, but for now let's just pretend we have no idea that that's the case, and we'll do we can make these as wide as we can. I do want to have like some sort of title here in between. So we can simplify this a bit. This should be like 6, I think. And what I would like to do here is, instead of the label, do a help desk. And that's not going to work, I see. That's too bad. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna rip that apart, and we're going to say I want more radios. Not this one. Checkbox. And it's a type radio button, and it will have a text, and we'll be asking slaapplaatsen. No, we should do a checkbox. That makes a lot more sense, actually. So it's a checkbox. It's a medium checkbox. Slaapplaatsen beschikbaar. So here it says number of slaapplaatsen, sleeping places to sleep, like beds to sleep or rooms to sleep. And it says leave empty to not display sleeping places. So what we're going to do is just make it a checkbox. And if they don't check it, it doesn't show. And then if they do check it, we will say, so I'll turn this as checked. And here we will actually use the labels, and maybe I should not mess with this, but there we go. And we have some USPs. Um, this is a very, very tiny button. I think we'll just use a regular one as an icon only. Like this. It's kind of interesting that it says that this is a default. Okay, I'll have to hide the chevron. And maybe I'll even do this. Would there be a case where there's not a unique property? It's kind of interesting, but pretty relevant. This is looking pretty nice. I really like where this is going. Could probably do a little bit of magic with spacing, but overall this is a pretty nice start. Kind of interested in what this focus ring color is, but sure. And this is kind of where we see the gray is a bit of a problem on top of this branding. So luckily we made this ivory color, but we do have to be very careful because it's not that subtle. And it also means that these elements, especially when they're on top of that gray color, should have some sort of match with that, because otherwise it stands out in the most ugliest way. It is a bit of a tricky style to play with, but we're getting closer and closer. So we're getting there. This is kind of cool. So I'm gonna just create another screenshot of this. We'll call this plaatsing aanmaken. Just doing a quick contra application. All right, so let's turn this into, you know what? I should probably, wow. This should be an inactive step, so it's incomplete. This one is current. And then let's quickly style these bad boys. Inside is 300. And the reason why I'm not changing the actual element is because this is, I want to change it on when it's on a ivory background, but it's not always the case that this radio button will be on an ivory background. So that's something to keep in mind. Vermelding, do vermelding, get rid of the subtext. There we go. And this will, oh wait, the header, my bad. This will help us to get, yeah, another nice looking screenshots. I do want them to be the same height, to be honest. So this one is 1050. We'll also make this 1050. For I am a generous god. And we'll pull up our magical mockup app once again. 2 screenshots. Something like that. And I do want to, not quite sure where it got the yellow from. I can live with that. So this one is for that, and one for the client. Aanvragen. Awesome. So there's already a lot of stuff going on. And we're good. So I think I'll be, I think that's enough for home. I'll just have to record another video for the client to update them on the progress. And yeah, I'll call it a day. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this was helpful to you. If you find it interesting, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And yeah, hopefully see you next time. It was fun streaming this with you. And yeah, see you soon.